Hey, Ben, if you're listening out there, sorry about that, buddy. Hey, let's jump into the mailbag real quick. We've got some mailbag questions coming in from our website, which is whatsonsports.com. Here comes the first question.
Okay, so this comes from Honus from Santa Clara,
Honus.
California. John Lynch
Hey,
has
Honus.
essentially named Jimmy Garoppolo as their starter in 2021. So how will the 49ers campaign with him? How will the 49ers campaign unfold, I suppose, with him back under center?
Well, look, if you look at what Garoppolo's done out there, Garoppolo's won like 3 games for every game he's lost as a starter for the San Francisco 49ers. It's not quite that. It's like 3.8 games for every game that he's lost. So he's obviously a winning quarterback. Garoppolo doesn't make a lot of really stupid mistakes, and I think he's learned from Tom Brady and the Patriots when he was there on how to be a professional. So I think that having your starting quarterback back, any team getting back their starting quarterback makes them exponentially better. You never knew who was going to be the 49ers quarterback last year from week to week. Now, along with that being an issue last year, the 49ers were decimated by injuries. They were the one team last year that had so many injuries up and down both sides of the field. So they had their wide receivers at one point. I think there was one game where they didn't know who they were going to start at wide receiver. Their offensive line had issues. Their defensive line, which is what really is the glue that holds that really good defense together, had injury after injury after injury. Richard Sherman missed games. I mean, that team just really couldn't field the team that they had put together to get on the field. So there's a bad part to that, and there's a good part to that. When you look at it, the San Francisco 49ers 2 years ago were in the Super Bowl. They were a very good team. They were predicted to be a very good team last year as well. In fact, a lot of people had them going back to the Super Bowl again. Some people even had them winning it. So having all of those injuries forced a lot of people that weren't going to play to have to play. And that's not a bad thing. That means that your team this year, if everybody comes back healthy, just got exponentially deeper. You've got a lot more players now that you can deep dive into and pull out and say, hey, you know what? This linebacker was a starter last year. Now he's the backup. So if somebody does get hurt, we plug him in. Or if a guy needs a blow, guy needs a break, you pull him out and you can pull guys in. Your rotation just got so much deeper. A lot of guys got a lot of rest last year on their bodies because they didn't take a lot of hits because they were hurt. So if everyone's rehab comes along on schedule, I think, and Garoppolo comes back, that's a tough division that they're in. But I truly believe that the San Francisco 49ers are going to be very, very good again. I also believe that the 49ers are going to make some type of sneaky deal and bring in a James Conner or some running back that's going to help them along the way with their rotation. They like to rotate backs. And I think they're going to go out and get one more offensive weapon as well. So I think the 49ers are going to load up the offensive side of the football a little bit, give Garoppolo maybe the veteran wide receiver that he hasn't had out there. And I think that team's going to be scary again. I think it's going to be a very good team. What about you? You think the 49ers got a chance to come back?
Yeah, so here's the take. For all of the injuries that happened to them last year, they still managed to win 6 games. So that's an indication of how deep their talent pool is.
Yeah,
so they were
exactly.
able to plug a lot of people, and they had like day-to-day people coming in week by week to be able to have a competitive team on the field, and they still managed to win 6 games. So what more if you have a Jimmy G, if you have the likes of Mostert, if you have the likes of the other starters like a Deebo Samuel or a Brandon Ayuk, and of course George Kittle is already healthy, ready to run in 2021. So you have your starters. Yeah, so you have your starters who somehow got you to the Super Bowl playing already, and that could be at least plus 2 wins already just by having Jimmy Garoppolo in. Or 3 wins, let's say. So from 6-10, they could easily be like 9-8 already. And of course, there will be games wherein they are playing against lesser opposition, which helps them also have easier victories. So especially in the competitive NFC West, they do need all the weapons that they can get. So here's also an interesting take about what happened with the 49ers. So they were able to give playing time to their backups, and potentially some teams might be interested or might be taking or reaching out to John Lynch, the GM, on the availability of these backups because they think that they can improve or they can plug in these players onto their own rosters and also improve. So they might be fielding calls from for their backups, especially those who really showed that
Yeah, good
they
point.
were something in 2020, and they can get a draft pick. They can get another player in return who can uh, provide the same performance but of lesser monetary value. So
Yeah.
for that one season of dysfunction, to say the least, but still a 6-10 record, the things are looking bright for the San Francisco 49ers. Granted that everybody who was injured in 2020 plays in 2021 like they did before they got injured.
Today's show is sponsored by us, actually, over at What's on Sports. We have a brand new $2 Sports Club that's probably the best deal on the internet. You guys can go over to the $2 Sports Club right now and check out what's available. But let me tell you really quick, there's a link in the description just underneath this video. You can go over and check out the link. But before you go, let me tell you, we do have a special guest that's about to appear inside the members area in about 17 days. His name is Michael Francis. He is a former mob boss who is quite possibly one of the most famous people on YouTube. Michael was involved in a lot of really cool stuff, including sports gambling when he was a member of the Francesi family. I'm sorry, of the Bonanno family, crime family in New York. So you can check that out. There'll also be some really cool stuff, including my new book, which is called The Score Metric Secret. This is a guide that teaches you how to use sports analytics to profit and make money. It's a zero correlation system. You can see that right there, which means that you can use sports lines to invest. You can trade sports instead of trading stocks. Yes, the stock market has been great over the last couple of years. And yes, it is about to take a massive crash with all the things going on, like the things that happened with the boys and girls that took over the GameStop stock, and what's going to be coming up as the ramifications of what happened from coronavirus and all the money that's been spent that has to be figured out how to be replaced. Now is the time to get out of the stock market with some of your investments and jump into a brand new market. So this book comes along free when you join our $2 Sports Club. Again, there's a link in the description below. It's $2 a month, and we're running a great deal right now. $12 gets you a lifetime subscription. You can go over to whatsonsports.com and take a look, or you can go into the description and click the link.